Hi students, uh, last class we have discussed about 11-fold demands raised by Gandhi. If you remember, when we were discussing about towards the civil disobedience movement, we have gone through a number of events that had happened between 1922, this with the withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement, and by 1930. In between, what we have discussed? We have discussed the functioning of Swaraj Party. We have also gone through the one commission has arrived in India. It was Simon Commission. It was opposed by Indians everywhere with the slogan "Go back, Simon." And also, the Simon Commission has been sworn black flag as a sign of opposing the Simon Commission. In between, we have also seen Gandhi had entered into the active politics again. After withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement, Gandhi was working in villages and he had started a number of constructive works that we have also discussed. A part of constructive work, we have seen promotion of Khadi as a symbol of self-reliancy and freedom struggle of India. Second, we have seen how Gandhi worked for the upliftment of Dalits. We have also seen Gandhi was also working to just mobilize the movement for the mass movement. We have also seen Gandhi was also working for the unity of Hindu and Muslims. These were some constructive work. You may say that these are the source of work that Gandhi was doing. But why Gandhi was doing these things? Actually, Gandhi was trying to unite Indian society. In the non-cooperation movement, he realized that there are a number of sections of Indian society, they were very much aloof from the movement. So he had realized those drawbacks or limitations of non-cooperation, and he had worked for that, for preparing a new movement that was called the civil disobedience movement. And then we have seen Gandhi wrote a letter to Lord Irwin in the background of the Great Economic Depression, under which India was also suffered a lot. Indian economy was collapsed. The value of Indian currency has been declined sharply. Trade was just went out. Nothing was there. Peasants were suffered. They were not getting the prices of their foods. So this was the condition everywhere. Indians were just looking towards the government to get some sorts of facilities, but government was just keeping their eyes closed. In that connection, in that particular situation, Gandhi wrote a letter to Lord Irwin, the Viceroy of India, with comprising 11-fold demands. In last class, we have seen what were the demands that Gandhi had added to that, and we have also gone through that Gandhi had made those 11-fold demands very much flexible, comprehensive. Why? This was the question that I had stated last time. Why Gandhi, that 11-fold demand was so flexible or so comprehensive? If you remember, Gandhi had added two different kinds of demands, general and specific demands. Actually, Gandhi had taken the demands and sufferings of different sections of societies of India, such as while talking about reduction in land revenue, he was addressing to peasants. If he was asking about the imposing duties on the foreign goods, he was addressing Indian traders. When Gandhi also just raised the demands of abolition of salt tax, he was doing something magic. So if you go through those demands, you will see that it was a mixture of a blend of issue-specific and general demand, because Gandhi was trying to connect all different societies of India. They should feel that yes, Gandhi was raising their demands. Actually, it was the next step towards the civil disobedience movement. So, in 11-fold demand, we were discussing, Gandhi has raised these kind of things and he given an ultimatum to Lord Irving. He wrote that letter to 2nd March 1930 and stated, giving the warning by 11th March, if this demand has not been considered, then Congress will be going to start a massive mass movement on the issue of salt law. Students, if you remember, in last class we have discussed about the salt law. Salt law was a tax that was imposed by the British government in India after the First World War. It was an attempt of the Britishers to raise more and more taxes to overcome from the economic crisis. Earlier, in India, there was no tax on salt. Means, on that time, whoever wants to make salt, they can, and whoever wants to sell salt, they can, without any paying taxes and all. But under the salt law, what they have to do now, until or unless anyone had not been given permit, means prior permission from the government, they could not manufacture salt, and for selling salt also they could have the license, means for that also they have to pay taxes. So this way government was trying to get more and more revenue from India. Gandhi included this salt law as a part of their error for demand, in which he demanded the salt law must be abolished immediately. But it was expected that these demands were not going to be accepted by the British government, and it was done so. Once the demands were rejected, Gandhi had started his famous Dandi March from 11th March 1930. Just try to understand the importance of Dandi March, that is also called the Salib March. Actually, this was the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. Gandhi, out of those 11 demands, just took the abolition of salt tax to start the civil disobedience movement. Now the question is going to be asked in an examination, that why did Gandhi choose salt to start civil disobedience movement? I repeat, गांधी ने सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट को स्टार्ट करने के लिए नमक आंदोलन या डांडी मार्च को ही क्यों चुना, या नमक को ही मुद्दा क्यों बनाया? Here, the greatness of Gandhi we can examine. India is a land of diversity, with diverse population, with diverse culture, language, religion, customs, practices, beliefs. Gandhi felt that taking these all diverse communities together is a tough task. He just discovered a common means that could unite these diverse communities, and that was salt. It seemed to be very much simple, and for me, on the issue of salt, Gandhi has started a mass movement. Not we are feeling amazed. When Gandhi stated about this, the British government was also just laughed on Gandhi. They felt that it was just impossible, that such kind of movement cannot be organized on the issue of salt. One more thing I would like to add. Even though salt tax was imposed, but salt was not become so costlier that common Indians could not afford. Just try to understand how much quantity of salt that will be required daily. Very less. So that is not going to affect the whole life of Indians. Not at all. But this is the great thought of Gandhi. How used as a weapon against the almighty British government, and he did it. Gandhi took sword as a weapon against the British government as he felt that sword is a common household used in each and every Indian's kitchen, regardless their caste, regardless their creed, regardless their religion, regardless their social status, regardless their language, regardless their culture, regardless their belief, they all are consuming salt. So Gandhi felt that salt could be a weapon, could be a means that unite whole India. He described salt law as one of the most oppressive law introduced by Britishers in India. He described that now Britishers were just trying to destroy our traditional practices while imposing salt tax. He has created an environment that whole India rallied towards Gandhi on the issue of salt. So the question is going to be asked regarding that. It is very, very important question, and the question may be asked for 3 marks or 5 marks. So you should be remembered. These dates must be remembered. This question must be asked for 1 mark. So get some details of salt march. Salt march had been started by Gandhi from the Sabarmati Ashram, Gujarat, to Dandi on the sea coast of Gujarat. It was 240 miles journey. How many miles? 240 miles. And he had started his journey with his 78 trusted followers. Trusted, those who could walk for longer distance. And they walked 10 miles per day. 10 miles per day. Per day 10 miles. Means in 24 days they have covered that distance, and on 6th April 1930 Gandhi reached at Dandi, and over there he just break the salt law. How? He just took the sea water and boiled it and made the salt. It was a violation of salt law, according to which no Indian could manufacture salt, make salt or sell salt without the permission of the government. This breaking of salt law is the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. I hope that you might be notice one important thing. I am emphasizing again. Let's try to get the secret that is lying in that sentence. Gandhi broke the salt law on 6th April 1930 when he manufactured salt at the sea coast of Dandi. Did you follow that? I am again emphasizing, I am using the word Gandhi broke the salt law. Broke. कानून को तोड़ा गया. It is a very major issue. अब यहां से थोड़ा सा कनेक्ट करें. जो हमने पढ़ा नॉन कॉपरेशन. नॉन कॉपरेशन में आपने क्या पढ़ा? नॉन कॉपरेशन में आपने पढ़ा है कि no one was called to break the law. Rather, it has been said, just boycott the British goods services without breaking any British law on the principle of non-violence. But now, Gandhi himself broke the law. कानून को तोड़ा गया. ये इंपॉर्टेंट बात है. नॉन कॉपरेशन मूवमेंट में कहीं भी कानून को तोड़ने की बात नहीं है. तो क्या है बच्चों, अब हम पढ़ेंगे एक छोटी सी चीज इसी आधार पे कि नॉन कॉपरेशन मूवमेंट और सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट में दोनों में क्या अंतर है, तकनीकी रूप से दोनों के अंदर क्या क्या अंतर हम पा सकते हैं. इससे भी एक प्रश्न पूछे जाते हैं. तो नेक्स्ट वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस अबाउट द डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन द नॉन कॉपरेशन मूवमेंट एंड द सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट. Now here students, now we are discussing about the non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement के अंतर क्या है. We have just discussed about the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. Now, just try to understand, once the movement goes ahead, the nature of movement was going to change. This is the nature of Gandhian movement. This is the reason why it has been said to understand Gandhi and Gandhian movement, one had to take just deep into the sea of Gandhian thought. अगर आप गांधी को सतही रूप से समझना चाहते हैं और उसको समझते हैं और लगता है कि आप सब कुछ जानते हैं, तो you are at wrong. You cannot understand Gandhi and Gandhian movement. Over here, just see, and you can realize the facts. In non-Christian movement, refuse to cooperate government means government से सहयोग नहीं करना है, बाइकआउट कर रहे हैं, but without breaking any law. Boycott और सत्याग्रह always being the integral part of the Gandhian movement. Civil disobedience movement में भी वो है, यहाँ भी बाइकआउट होगा, यहाँ भी स्वदेशी होगी, लेकिन दोनों के नेशन में अंतर है। यहाँ कोऑपरेट नहीं करेंगे विदाउट ब्रेकिंग एनी लॉ, हम आपका कानून तोड़ नहीं रहे। अब एग्जांपल समझिए, when Indians refuse to use British manufactured clothes, they are not breaking any law. It is their will whether they should use British manufactured cloth or khadi cloth manufactured in India. If Indians were refusing to get admission in the government colleges and schools, they are not breaking any law. It depends upon them whether they took admission in the government school or they get education at their home or any school opened by any Indians. There is no question of breaking law. So this is the meaning of refusing to cooperate government. But in civil disobedience movement, Gandhi himself broke the salt law. Broke the salt law means breaking the law. So over here in civil disobedience movement, people have been called to break all unjust rules of the British government. I am repeating, unjust rule. अब ऐसा नहीं है कि रूल तोड़ने की बात है, नियम तोड़ने की बात है तो हम किसी को चाकू मार दें। बोले गांधी जी ने कहा नियम तोड़ने की बात है, हत्या नहीं करना है लेकिन नियम तोड़ना है, हम मार देंगे चाकू। No. What Gandhi has emphasized, he said that to break unjust rules of the British government, जो भारतीयों को सताने के लिए, जिसकी प्रवृत्ति, जिसकी प्रकृति शोषणात्मक हो, दमनात्मक हो, उन कानूनों को तोड़ेंगे, but within the limitation of non-violence. It doesn't mean Gandhi was emphasizing to become violent. Non-violence के पाथ को फॉलो करते हुए भी हम कानून को तोड़े, ऐसे गांधी ने किया. When Gandhi had started Dandi March with his 78 followers, and once he started his march, and once he just crossing the different villages and areas, thousands of people joined him. When he reached to Dandi, there were more than millions of people over there. Amazing. From whichever area that march has passed, people of those areas joined him. They followed Gandhi. See the popularity of Gandhi, faith of people in Gandhi. This is the characteristics of a mass leader. And what make Gandhi a mass leader? The feeling, the notion, the understanding about the common Indians. That is the key for the success of Gandhi. So, second point. If you remember, after the withdrawal of non-prohibition movement, Gandhi was busy in constructive program. He was realized that women participation was less in the non-cooperation, so he was working for mobilizing the movement toward the civil disobedience movement or the another movement, and he did it. In civil disobedience movement, large participation of women were there. But over here, women participation was very, very less, or you can say negligible. Over here, movement was launched to attain Swaraj. If you remember, at the time of civil disobedience movement, nowhere it was the demand of complete independence and Pune Swaraj. It was the Lahore session of Congress in 1929 when movement, Congress admitted and accepted the proposal of Purna Swaraj, and from next year, from 26 January 1930, India has observed Independence Day. It was a symbolic. We have discussed about the things. So over here, the aim was to attend Swaraj. Over here, aim was to attend Purna Swaraj. Apart from these three, you may also say the immediate cause, immediate तात्कालिक कारण, नॉन कॉर्पोरेशन को शुरू करने का तात्कालिक कारण क्या था? बंदूकें, गोलियां, जालियांवाला बाग मैसेकर. It was the Jallianwala Bagh massacre that was the immediate cause for the starting non-cooperation movement. And what about this? It was the Simon Commission. It was the Simon Commission and the unjust rule like salt law imposed on Indians. So this was the basic difference between the non-cooperation and civil disobedience movement. So students, you can understand how the nature of Gandhian movement has been changed. And this is the greatness of Gandhi. How he transformed the movement. Sometimes he seemed to be taking his foot few step back, and now he was just trying to jump on the prey. It was prey means the British government. So next, now we will discuss about the course of civil disobedience movement. Now, course of movement. Once the Salt March was started, with the beginning of Salt March, the civil disobedience movement had started. Actually, Salt March is a part of the civil disobedience movement in Hindi. Civil disobedience movement is called सविनय अवज्ञा आंदोलन. सविनय, अगर इसको देखा जाए, ये है सविनय अवज्ञा आंदोलन. सविनय का मतलब ही होता है विनय के साथ, यानी कि विथ ग्रेट पोलाइटनेस, और अवज्ञा मतलब डिसओबीडियंस, यानी कि हम नहीं मानेंगे आपकी आज्ञा. तो अब इस कोर्स ऑफ मूवमेंट में क्या हुआ कि द मूवमेंट वाज स्प्रेड ऑल ओवर इंडिया. बायकॉट एंड स्वदेशी वाज इस इंटीग्रल पार्ट एज यूजुअल. इन एवरी Gandhian movement there was the essence of boycott and swadeshi and non-violence. Peasants refused to pay revenue and चौकीदारी टैक्स. अब कई जगहों पे टैक्स देने से पीजेंट्स इनकार करने लगे. ये मूवमेंट पूरे हिंदुस्तान में फैलने लगा और लोग अपनी जगह से इसमें अपने तरीके से शामिल होने लगे. फिर से मैंने कहा, अपनी जगह से अपने तरीके से इसमें शामिल होने लगे. फिर से आएगी डिफरेंट स्ट्रेंथ्स. यहाँ भी हम देखेंगे आगे कि कैसे अलग अलग समूह के लोग इस मूवमेंट में शामिल होते हैं और सबके अपने डेवलपमेंटल गोल होते हैं. याद कीजिए 11th डिमांड. Gandhi prepared that 11th demand very much flexible, including the demands of different groups of people of India. So similarly, those group of people joined the movement with their own causes, but they all were aiming to uproot British rule from India. That is the key. That is the important fact. Whatever means they were adopted to be a part of the movement, but they all were sitting in the same train and having the same destination, that was the independence of India. So, one striking thing that is important to know, this question may be asked in NTSC and your board examination also, that is in northwest frontier. NW is northwest frontier. उत्तर पश्चिम का जो सीमावर्ती इलाका है, वहां पर एक महत्वपूर्ण लीडर थे, a great disciple of Gandhi. It was Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. Who? Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. इन्हें हम लोग सीमांत गांधी भी कहते हैं, फ्रंटियर गांधी भी कहते हैं, क्योंकि उस इलाके में ये गांधीयन थ्योरी को, गांधीयन थॉट को, गांधी के विचारों को, कार्यक्रम को सबसे मजबूती से ये रन कर रहे थे. He formed his own organization called खुदाई खिदमतगार. मतलब खुदाई खिदमतगार किसका सेवक? ईश्वर के अनुचरों का सेवक, यानी लोगों की सेवा करने वाला ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बनाया गया. ये भी इस सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट के पार्ट थे और इनको अरेस्ट किया गया कहां? पेशावर में. तो ये सवाल पूछे जाते हैं, who was called Frontier Gandhi, who led the civil disobedience movement in northwest frontier? तो again Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, and again who formed खुदाई खिदमतगार? Again it was Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. यहाँ से ये प्रश्न पूछने की संभावना लगातार बनी रहती है। इस मूवमेंट के बढ़ते हुए फैलाव को देखते हुए, भारतीयों के पार्टिसिपेशन को देखते हुए, ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट हैड स्टार्टेड इट्स ब्रूटल रिप्रेशन मेजर्स, ब्रूटल, दमनकारी, बर्बरतापूर्ण। उन्होंने इस मूवमेंट को दबाना शुरू किया अपनी पूरी ताकत लगाकर। लाठी चार्जेस वर वेरी मच कॉमन, रिगार्डलेस कि उनके सामने वुमेन है, बच्चे हैं, बूढ़े हैं, जवान हैं, पूरी तरीके से उनकी पिटाई होती थी। अरेस्टिंग्स वर वेरी मच कॉमन, more than lakh people were arrested in that particular part of the civil movement. You can imagine the mobilization of people, lakh people were arrested. Then after, Gandhi was himself arrested. So on seeing such kind of brutal repression measures, Congress and Gandhi was again under the pressure, because everywhere government was using its brutal force, and gradually Gandhi felt that again, that under such kind of repressive measures, Satyagrahis, common Indians were facing so many difficulties. So one reason is, and the second part, from the government side, government was also realizing that this time the movement become very intensified. Government was also feeling that keeping a control in this movement is gradually become difficult. So both the sides realize their difficulties, realize their limitations. So ultimately, Lord Irwin offered Congress to have a meeting. Not only Congress, all parties in India have been offered to sit together to discuss the future of India in the second round table conference. Gandhi and Irwin agreed for that, and in that direction, Gandhi agreed to be a part of the second round table conference. But before that, they have a pact, an agreement that was called Gandhi-Irwin Pact. सवाल यहाँ से पूछे जाते हैं कि गांधी-इरविन पैक्ट कब हुआ 1931 में, और गांधी-इरविन पैक्ट की क्या शर्तें थी। तो अब हम पढ़ेंगे गांधी-इरविन पैक्ट की शर्तों को। नेक्स्ट में अब हमारा है नया टॉपिक गांधी-इरविन पैक्ट की शर्तें। तो बच्चों, President's Gandhi-Irwin Pact, about which we have talking. Once both the parties, means Congress and the government, realize that they need a pause, they need to discuss again, to overview the situation again. Ultimately, they got a pact that was called the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, Pact in Samjhauta. In this Delhi 1931, there was a pact between Gandhi and Lord Irwin, the Viceroy of India, and according to that particular pact, Gandhi or Congress agreed to participate in the second round table conference. फर्स्ट राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस 1930 में हुई थी, जिसको कांग्रेस ने रिफ्यूज किया था पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए। जब डिमांड ये प्रपोजल क्या दिया गया था, हे प्रपोजल दो मिनिस्टर्स का, तो गांधी ने क्या कहा था उसे, गांधी ने कहा था कि ये एक आउटडेटेड पोस्ट चेक है। तो फर्स्ट राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस में कांग्रेस हैड नॉट पार्टिसिपेटेड, सो देयर वाज एक्चुअली नो मीनिंगफुल रिजल्ट कमिंग आउट फ्रॉम दैट फर्स्ट राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस, बिकॉज़ कांग्रेस वाज द major political party of India, so it was not participated, so there was no meaning of the first round of the conference. In that particular scenario, now Gandhi agreed to be a part of the second round of the conference as a representative of Congress. That was going to be held in London. Congress again agreed for one. Congress would suspend, again I am using the word suspend. Congress has not withdrawn the सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट, सस्पेंडेड यानी स्थगित किया, बंद नहीं किया, समाप्त नहीं किया, स्थगित किया, मतलब कि फिर से इसको शुरू कर सकते हैं। द सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट, गांधी ने कहा कि जब तक हम सेकंड राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस में भाग लेते हैं, वहां के रिजल्ट अगर अच्छे होंगे, हमारे हिंदुस्तान के हितों के अनुसार होंगे, तो हम इस मूवमेंट को छोड़ देंगे, अन्यथा हम इस मूवमेंट को रीलॉन्च करेंगे। एट द गवर्नमेंट साइड व्हाट दे हैव प्रॉमिस्ड, रिलीज पॉलिटिकल प्रिजनर्स, राजनीतिक बंदियां, जो लोग सरकार के विरोध में अहिंसात्मक आंदोलनों के तहत गिरफ्तार किए गए होंगे, अहिंसात्मक उनको रिलीज किया जाएगा। दूसरा, लोकल कंजम्पशन के लिए जो सॉल्ट है जो हम डे टू डे घरों में यूज करते हैं वो टैक्स फ्री होगी, उस पर टैक्स नहीं लगेगी। हाँ, इंडस्ट्रियल यूज के लिए जैसे कि केमिकल फैक्ट्रीज में नमक का इस्तेमाल कर वहां टैक्स लगेगी। तो एक यहाँ रिलैक्सेशंस मिली। और ब्रूटल मेजर्स जो अंग्रेज आंदोलनकारियों को दबाने के लिए दंडात्मक कार्रवाई कर रहे थे उसको वो रोकने को एग्री हुए। नाउ इन दिस सिनेरियो Gandhi was just on the journey to London where he met to the rulers of England and different political parties, and then after there was a second round table conference that was also an important incident, a part of the Indian freedom movement. In that second round table conference, a number of things had happened that disappointed Gandhi. And Gandhi again came back to India from London and relaunched the movement. तो अब हम लोग पढ़ेंगे कि कैसे गांधी रीलॉन्च करते हैं मूवमेंट को, और बाद में हम पढ़ेंगे कि सेकेंड राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस में दरअसल हुआ क्या जिसके कारण गांधी वहां से खाली हाथ वापस आए। उम्मीदों के साथ गांधी गए थे लेकिन आए निराश होकर के, और उसके बाद रीलॉन्च किया उन्होंने मूवमेंट को। तो हम पढ़ेंगे कि व्हाई गांधी रीलॉन्च द मूवमेंट, और दूसरी बात हम ये भी पढ़ेंगे कि उस मूवमेंट में मींस डिफरेंट नोशन रिगार्डिंग द सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट, मींस पार्टिसिपेशन ऑफ डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स ऑफ इंडिया इन द सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट। तो नेक्स्ट हमारा जर्नी वहां पे चलता है।